He's dead.
Oh, no! No!
Miss Owens, call an intern, quickly. Miss Owens, come quickly.
Any change, nurse?
No, Dr. Blake.
There's a lot more to doctoring than drugs and surgery, because a lot of things have happened to men, happened in their minds, where our prescriptions and scalpels cannot reach. Things that may have happened years ago, in their childhood perhaps, bringing them to the desperate crossroads where we doctors find them. I have known Peter Rogers since he and his brother Bob were in college. Football players, stars of the team, different as day and night. Peter the dazzling ball carrier, living on the roars of the crowd. Bob, quiet and unspectacular, but the best blocker on the squad. Peter had scored all right, but it was through Bob's perfect blocking that the sensational run was possible. There was after-game excitement in the dressing room, for Peter's touchdown had been the margin of victory. And that night, there were to be further honors at the alumni party, a must to the members of the squad. And so, Peter had 2 invitations for the evening.
Good night.
Goodbye, Mr. Dawson. Good night. Good night, Mr. Austin.
And?
Watch this man of mine. He's going to make a great lawyer.
I'm sure he will. If he's as good at law as he was at playing football. Good night.
Thank you, sir. Good night. Happy?
Uh-huh.
Hey! Bob!
Hiya, kiddies.
Hiya, Bobby.
Don't tell me you didn't show at the alumni party either.
I put in an appearance for both of us, as I discovered when I got there. Thanks. Where were you?
Oh, little big business kid? What are you doing out here?
Walking?
Gee, that sounds exciting.
Want a hitch, Bobby?
Oh, no thanks, Ann. I sort of like to walk at night.
Yeah, they like to be alone. He and his thoughts. Well, so long, relative.
So long.
What's eating him?
Who knows? He's a strange guy. Always has been ever since he was a kid. But he'll make a fine doctor.
You'll make a wonderful doctor.
Yeah. Hey, you wouldn't be going for Bobby, would you?
No.
Okay. Love me?
Uh-huh.
How much?
Enough.
Come on, how much?
A bushel and a peck and a hug around the neck.
And?
And a kiss to boot.
This will be your office, Peter. It's small, but when you get too big for it, we'll get you a larger one.
I'll try to fill it, sir.
You take it easy this afternoon. Tomorrow I'll put you to work. Hard work. There's plenty of it around here. Lots of opportunities, too.
Thank you very much, sir.
Yes, sir.
Hello, Ducky? This is Mr. Peter Rogers calling from his suite in the Chancellor Building. That's right, I made it. The eminently promising young lawyer has embarked upon his illustrious career. Now, what was that you were saying about marrying me? Just a minute, will you, darling? I can't hear you.
This your first case, Doc?
Yeah.
Scared? You must be good. All the good ones are scared at first.
But I sure must be a whiz. Oh, just a couple of cops having fun with their siren. But as I was saying, in the matter of your forthcoming marriage, my advice as a lawyer would be to get the guy under contract as quickly as possible.
J.P. Osborne was a good judge of men. He had never hired a more ambitious young man than Peter Rogers. He'd known it when he watched him on the football field, that Peter was one of those men whom nothing would stop. He drove himself unmercifully, day and night. He loved his wife and little baby girl, but had time for little else but business. Nothing but that one brilliant dream of overwhelming success. I had taken Bob into my clinic, and I, too, it seemed, was a good judge of men. Bob was as brilliant at medicine as Peter was at law. But Bob, somehow, was different.
Here you are, Miss Adams. Frankly, though, you don't need it. There's nothing wrong with you.
Well, surely I should know whether or not I'm well, Doctor.
I'm afraid you've made a bad mistake, Dr. Blake. Taking me into your clinic.
What happened, Bob?
There's nothing in the world the matter with her. And I told her so.
I know how you feel, son.
Oh, I know. We ought to coddle them. Especially those who pay their bills. All of our learning, our science. There's so many people really needing it who can't pay.
But you do your share, Bob. We all do here.
1 day a week for charity patients?
It's all we can afford. And the rich patients have to pay for it. After all, we do have our livings to make. And neurotics, like that woman you just sent out of here. They need help, too.
Sure. Medicine, like everything, has to pay.
So what I have tried to say to you today is that you should not come to church to find an easy way out, to feel that by attending church 1 hour Sunday morning, we thereby have Christianity in our lives. Church going is important, but it is not enough. Our religion is our attitude toward God and life, our motivating force. Today, amid the conflicts and struggles of life, many of us have lost our purpose and are confused and uncertain as to the way that we should turn. Others struggle feverishly toward goals of personal achievement and fame. Only in times of crisis to be brought face to face with the stark, tragic emptiness of our lives. Only in times of crisis do many of us realize our own inadequacy and turn to God for peace, security, and strength. Yet we can have no strength or security or peace until we replace our confused and selfish attitude by unselfish dedication to his cause. We will never really live until we recognize that God has a purpose for our lives and discover what that purpose is. And how can we know the will of God? The answer is simple, yet profound. We can discover the purpose of God for us through the life and sufferings of Christ. Christ teaches us that unselfishness, rather than selfishness, is the divine purpose for life. Christ challenges us to forsake the idea of gaining more and more power for selfish use and to become channels of God's infinite power, flowing out in the service of mankind. He challenges us to risk our lives, yes, and to lose them, for his sake. When we do this, we find real life with a new meaning and direction. And we find also an inner peace and security and a strength beyond our own. Let us pray.
Very nice sermon, I thought.
Oh, yes, it certainly was.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, Doctor.
Goodbye, Doctor. As a matter of fact, I didn't hear a word of it.
Oh, you'll never get to heaven that way.
Don't be silly. What would they want with a lawyer up there anyway?
Peter, you're hopeless.
Where's Bob?
I don't know. I guess we'd better go on without him.
All right. Say, Ann, for the love of Mike, come on, will you? We're late.
Coming, dear.
I want you to be a good little girl, a reasonable facsimile.
Good evening, Mr. Robert.
Hiya, Clara.
Well, thank goodness it's you. I could throw you out.
Going out, eh?
Yeah. Big oil company party. Say,
What?
you look happy.
I am.
Hello, Bob.
Hello, Ann.
Look, he's happy.
I didn't know it stuck out like that, but I am happy. I've just come to a big decision. I just left the clinic.
You quit the clinic.
Well, I never was satisfied there.
Well, what are you going to do?
I'm going to be a missionary.
A missionary?
Well, don't look so dismayed, Pete. Lots of nice people go into church work.
I know, but what about your career?
Well, there's such a thing as a medical missionary. I'm going to China as a missionary doctor. Well, is it as bad as all that?
I think it's wonderful, Bob.
Of course it's wonderful, Ann. I only wish I'd thought of it years ago. You know I haven't been happy. I went into medicine to help people. Well, I have, of course, but half the time my hands have been tied, and I haven't done nearly all the things I've wanted to. But this way I can devote my life to it.
When Mother died and left that insurance money for our education, do you think that she meant it for this?
You're a good lawyer, Pete, but this is one case you lose. I've made up my mind. Well, I don't want to keep you people. Have a good time. So long.
Good night, Bob. You've never really known your brother, have you, Peter? None of us have.
Dear Bob, it seems like ages since we've seen you, though in reality it's only been 6 months. But I want you to be the first to know we're going to have another baby. If you've any strings you can pull in heaven, make it a boy for Peter. It is a boy. So wonderful. So wonderful. It's hard to express. It's very lonely here for Shirley, Ronnie, and me, with Peter away in the service. But then I suppose other families are lonely too. Just now, we're in the midst of a blackout. It's bad enough for us at home. How much more so it must be for you in China. Peter's back from the service now, and my life is full again. He was hardly out of uniform before he was back at work again, as hard as ever. His only relaxation is in playing with little Ronnie, who is everything in the world to him. The moon, the stars, the sun itself, all wrapped up in a 6-year-old.
Well, Peter, I understand you haven't been working very hard since you came back. Only till 11 o'clock last night.
So I'm being watched, huh?
By the janitor, yes. He never fails to let me know what an up-and-coming young lawyer you are. Well, my boy, what's on your mind?
You know what's on my mind, sir.
Yes, I think I do.
I want that Palmer Oil Company case.
Well, you're not asking very much, are you?
I can handle it, Mr. Osborne. I'm sure I can.
A $500 million case. That's quite a plum you're asking for.
I want that case as I've never wanted anything before. The war has taken 3 years out of my life. 3 years of just standing still. I've got to get back on my feet, sir.
Well, it'll take a lot of preparation between now and the trial time to get ready for it.
I'll give it whatever it takes, sir. You can depend on that.
Uh-huh. Well, all right, Peter, you go ahead with the preparation. Then we'll see.
Thank you, sir.
Mommy, Dad's home. I'm a B-29, Daddy. I'm a B-29.
Hey, you better stay out of the street with that thing or you get conked by a car.
What's conked by a car, Daddy?
Never mind. Here, let's see how much damage you can do to that.
Thank you, Daddy.
Hello, dear. Hi, sis.
Hello, Daddy.
You're home early, Peter. Look, darling, see what your father looks like in the daylight.
I have to work tonight anyway. Here you are, dear. And I want you to take very good care of that. When I was a kid, I could buy a Model T Ford for what that doll costs nowadays.
Oh, thank you, Daddy.
The minister was here. He wanted to know if you'd take over that fundraising campaign for relief in Europe and Asia.
No, I wrote him and told him I was too busy.
Oh, Peter.
Well, I am too busy, Anne.
Well, it doesn't hurt to do for others some of the time. We can't just live by ourselves.
Look, I sent him a check for $100, dear.
Oh, that's fine, Peter. But money alone isn't enough. Dr. Martin needs your services, too.
Look, if I hadn't lost 3 years in the Army, I'd be at the top of the heap right now. I've got to make up for it.
I know you want to succeed, Peter, but is that all you want? It isn't just this fundraising campaign. It's, well, it's just that I love you so much.
Look at Mommy. It whistled.
When you can whistle as well as that, son, I'll enter you in Harvard Law School. So get busy.
Oh, no. One slave driver in this family is enough.
I want to raise one of my children to be a good, experienced loafer.
Oh, Anne. Well, darling, keep your fingers crossed. This is it.
You'll win it, Peter. I know you will.
I can almost do it, Daddy.
And you keep your fingers crossed, too, son.
Come on, Ronnie.
Daddy, I can do it!
Ronnie, come back here.
Daddy!
With the death of his son, little Ronnie, something in Peter seemed to break. Hello, Anne.
Hello, Doctor. How is he?
He's going to be all right.
Oh, Anne.
Hello, darling. Dr. Blake says you're fine, and you'll be coming home soon. Your oil case, honey. It was decided in your favor, and Mr. Osborne said you deserved all the credit.
It's all right, Anne. He's going to be all right. Well, Anne, what's the trouble?
Dr. Blake, it's been 5 weeks since we brought Peter home, and he's still just as listless as ever. He seems to be completely without interest in his family or his work or anything.
I know, Anne. I've noticed it, too.
It's affecting his work. Mr. Osborne took him off his last case and gave it to another man, and Peter didn't even seem to care. It's that way with everything. I loved Ronnie just as much as Peter did, Doctor. But after all, we do have to face things.
Yes, Anne, we do have to face things. And to do so, we need the peace and security that comes to people from a strong, active faith in God. A sense of purpose and inner strength that enables them to pull through their crises. It's a point Dr. Martin has made many times in his sermons. And it's always made a deep impression on me because as a doctor, I know how many people don't have it. So many who feel sufficient unto themselves and never find out until the real test comes along how much they lack. Some people have that strength, others don't. You do. Peter doesn't.
How can I help him, Doctor?
Do you think you could get him to go away for a while? A complete change of scene?
Yes. The way he feels now, he doesn't care what he does.
I want him to visit Bob.
Visit Bob? You mean go to China?
Yes, China. I've been in practice many years, and I've learned a great deal that hasn't anything to do with medicine. I think China might help.
By the time you get this letter, Peter will probably be there.
Hello, Peter. Hello, Bob. Well, Peter, what did two brothers talk about after 7 years?
I don't know. Weather, I guess.
You haven't changed as much as I thought. How's Ann, Peter?
Oh, Ann's fine.
And Shirley?
Shirley's fine, too. Well, I didn't know I was an honored visitor. 21-gun salute. Or isn't this shooting just in fun?
Just a friendly little war. If I'd known sooner, I would have had them...
Well, if the bullets start coming our way, we can always duck.
Come on, let's go inside.
I don't get it, Bob.
What?
What you're doing in a place like this.
Well, I'll try to show you. Oh, here's a man I want you to meet, Peter.
This must be...
Peter, this is Mr. James Wong, one of my greatest friends in China.
How do you do?
Welcome to China.
Come with us, Jim. I'm taking Peter to see the children's ward. After all, it's his.
Mine.
Yours and Ann's. The money you sent us helped to build it.
Oh, it was so little.
So little to you, perhaps, Mr. Rogers, but so much to us.
Come on, let's go.
Good morning, Dr. Bob. Good morning, Mr. Wong.
Good morning, children.
Good morning, children.
Good morning, Mr. Wong.
Good morning, nurse.
Good morning, Doctor.
Good morning, children.
Good morning, children.
I seem to think quite a bit of you here.
Oh, we had our little grandson here in the hospital for a while.
What was the matter with him?
Bad leg, couldn't walk.
And now he can?
Yes.
You must excuse me now, Mr. Rogers. I have a Bible class, but I shall come by this evening, if I may.
Oh, fine. I'll be very happy if you will.
Thank you. So long, Bob.
Bye, Jim.
He speaks better English than I do.
University of Pennsylvania, 1921.
No kidding? Seems like a very nice guy. Very happy and at peace with the world.
Yes, he's working with me here. teaches Bible and does religious work among the patients. He's a lay evangelist. Wong comes from one of the wealthiest banking families in China. But the war took everything, even his wife and children in an air raid. That's when he came to me.
Is that you, Bob?
Good evening, Mr. Rogers.
Oh, Mr. Wong. I was expecting my brother.
He's away?
Yes, he's on a sick call somewhere. Won't you sit down?
Thank you.
Tea?
Please.
Those guns seem very close tonight.
Yes.
I thought he'd be home long before this.
He's often late and never stops working. Your brother is a fine man, Mr. Rogers. A great man. Do you know, when he came here 7 years ago, the people in this district were dying by the hundreds of cholera. They haven't had a serious epidemic since.
He's a great doctor. He could have had a great career.
I know how you feel. He threw it all away to come to a place like this and bury himself. Yes, I found it hard to understand myself at first. I remember when I met him. It was in Shanghai. I helped him a little, gave him money. I was very wealthy and could afford it. While Bob was a missionary, working among the farmers and coolies. 8 months later, I came to this mission. I was one among hundreds, begging for food.
But how could you face it? Reared in luxury, losing everything, even your family.
I couldn't have, if it hadn't been for your brother. From him, I learned that there's something greater than oneself, a power. He taught me of a Christ who lived 2,000 years ago, but is alive here and now. And when you open your heart and let him in, well, then you find that power. Then you know that there are other things to live for besides oneself. That one can live to serve others as well. You learn what Christ meant when he said, "Whosoever will save his life shall lose it, but whosoever shall lose his life for my sake shall save it." That's why I remain here with Bob. For when I learned that, I found a peace I had never known before.
It was pretty close. Bob!
I've called for the bus. It'll be here in the morning.
The bus?
Yeah, we'll have to move the patients and the children up to the caves. The fighting's coming this way. Here's the bus. Get going. Come on, Pete. Let's get this going. Get him on the bus. It's getting close. This is the last of the Bob. Get aboard, Jim.
Did you get your medicine kit?
Let it go.
You need it, Bob.
It's the hospital.
Wong is in there.
Get inside. Driver, get going. This isn't your work, Peter.
You can't get him out of there alone.
Jim! 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 He's alive. We can't move him. He's too badly hurt.
You're working on him here?
I'll have to. You'd better find a safer place, Peter.
No, I'll stay. You'll need help, Bob.
All right, stay with him. I'll get some water.
Bob will be right back, Jim.
Oh, Peter.
You're going to be all right, Jim. Don't be afraid. Bob will take care of you.
I'm not afraid, Peter. There's nothing to fear when you're only going home.
You'll be all right, Jim. Bob is coming.
Tell them something for me, Peter.
Tell him what, Jim?
Tell him I wanted to thank him for all he has done for my people, for me. More than medicine, the love of God, the forgiveness of sin, Christ in the heart, bringing new life. He has it, Peter, and he gives it to others. That's his strength. It's what the world needs. Tell him, Peter, that I am very happy that I am going to the Father's house without fear.
Nice to have the children back and hear them laughing. Looks like we have visitors.
He
says we have small gift to present to elder brother.
雷先生，你唔開命嚟救我哋中國兒女，我哋做父母嘅感恩先生不盡，求先生收接呢件禮物。
You risk death to save Chinese children. The gratitude of the parents will never come to an end. Please, sir, accept it.
每俾人唔曉講英文， 呢個十字架係代表我哋嘅心事。呢個我哋保存呢個十字架係有3代之久咯。
Please, we're unable to speak English. This cross must speak in our stead. It has been treasured in our home for 3 generations.
I can't take this.
They want you to have it, Peter.
先生肯咁收咁呢個禮物呢，我哋十分感激。
We're very grateful that you accept our gift.
It's you who should have this, Bob.
No, I've been thanked enough already. They want to make a special gift to you.
Those children laughing would have been thanks enough.
Well, I guess that answers your question.
What question?
When you asked me quite a while ago, when you first came, you asked me what I got out of it.
Well, you don't have to tell me now. Bob, I'd like to stay here and help you.
You don't need to do that. You've got a mission, Peter, at home. I don't mean only missions, but the many projects, benevolent, medical, educational, agricultural, that the church carries on at home. I mean a mission of your own, right in your own church. Your own profession, Peter.
Well, you didn't seem to find it so, Bob.
No. I'm needed here. This is what I want to do. But I've learned a lot since I first came out here. Remember how I used to rage at Blake for doctoring neurotic women and pampered dowagers? Well, hardly a month passes, but I get some new surgical instruments or drugs or medical textbooks from Dr. Blake. It's because of people like that that people like me can carry on their work. And I was wrong about those women, Peter. They needed help, too.
Yes, but Bob, I'm a lawyer, not a doctor. What can I do?
You've given money, Peter. That's important. But as you found out, that's only part. It's yourself that counts. Letting Christ work through you. I mean in your home, your church, your profession, your community. You happen to be a lawyer, and an influential one. But it would be the same thing fundamentally if you were a doctor, a teacher, or a laborer. The biggest thing you have to give is yourself. And you can do that anywhere. But there's probably one best place for each of us. And it's up to us to find it. But you have to put everything you've got into it. That's evangelism, Pete. The deepest sense. Giving your life to him. Losing it for his sake. Winning others to him. Losing your life that way, Peter. You'll find it.
Yes, that's it. That's what you and Ann were trying to tell me. But I couldn't get it then. It's true. There are so many opportunities, so many different ways that I can help people. And I do want to pass it on. It's the sort of a thing that you lose if you don't share it. There's Osborne. He's never seen it. He'd be dynamite if he did. But Bob, how can I tell him and make him understand?
What was it Wong said to you, Peter?
It wasn't what he said. It was what he did.
And why he did it.
I'll be going back soon, Bob. I'll miss you. And all this. But I'll be taking something back with me. Something that I never really had before. Your Christ. Now my Christ.
my Savior, my Lord.